Okay, this video is for the first actual drawing exercise for my students in Engineering 1 who are using Onshape. You can see that I've actually got a lot of pages open. Let me go ahead and close all this other stuff right now. So I just went to onshape.com. It's got a login. I'm going to log in. You guys will have your own logins. And there we go. And so once you've logged in, just a quick reminder, you guys will have an easier time doing this and following me if you do take the time to go to your login, go to My Account, go to Preferences, and make sure down here for View Manipulation that you have SolidWorks selected instead of Onshape. It'll make it so it works like what you're used to, and I have done that, and it does help. So I'm going to go back to Onshape. You are using the curriculum that's built into Onshape, and I did do a video showing you how to do this, but in case you didn't watch that, I will show you. Go and you click on the Learning Center, and it opens up a new tab. Once you get to the Learning Center, you'll scroll down a little bit to hear where it says self-paced courses. And after you get to self-paced courses, we're going to use a learning pathway. So we're going to expand that and go to CAD Basics. And you can see there's only one learning pathway here. And I told you in the previous course, don't worry about doing this introduction to parametric feature-based CAD because your introduction to SolidWorks was an ample introduction to parametric feature-based CAD. But we are going to go to introduction to part design. Of course, I've completed it already, but I'm going to go back and open it up, and you can see I've got all the green checks. But you guys will work through the Part Studio interface yourself. This just familiarizes you with the interface, you know, where all the buttons are, what they're called, because it will be using those terms in this curriculum. So go through all of these. The first thing you're going to have to turn in is right here where it gets to sketch geometry. And of course, first you should watch this video on basic sketch geometry. It has some very good information there, which will point out a few little minor differences between the way sketches work in SolidWorks and Onshape. They are very similar, so you will not have any trouble. And then you know that we use constraints, both dimension constraints and geometry constraints, such as coincident and tangent and all that. Onshape does the same thing. This shows you that really quick, so you can see how that works. And then you come here to the exercise sketch creation, and you will see that I have created a assignment in Google Classroom called Exercise Sketch Creation. So this is what you're going to be doing. You're going to actually be creating the sketch. You're not going to actually create a model from this. This is all about sketching. So all you have to do once you get to the exercise is you click the next page, and it will start, and it will tell you here exactly what to do. So it says, create a new document and be sure the workspace length unit is set to inches. Begin a sketch on the front plane and reorient the camera to view normal to the sketch plane. So I'm going to do those three things. First thing I'm going to do is go back to this tab. You guys have the same thing. I'm going to create a new document, just like it said. And we can call this sketch. It's called Sketch Creation. You don't have to give it a name if you don't want to. It's not required to name it for your grade to be correct, but I'll name it that. It is now creating this new document, and you can see we have our planes just like SolidWorks. It did say to start a sketch on the front plane, so I can right click here and start new sketch. So now I've done the second thing it asked me to, and finally it says to go normal to this front plane. Well, in SolidWorks, you had the little arrow that had normal to. all you do in Onshape is hit the N key. So I hit the N key, now I am normal to the front plane. So now we have done what the first page said. And it says here, use the N and P shortcut keys. For best learning experience, we recommend using 2 browser windows, one to follow exercise and the other working on Onshape. Well, if you're working on a laptop like I am, you probably don't have enough room for that. So I'm just clicking back and forth between tabs. And that works okay as well, at least right now. So we'll go to the next slide. And it says, sketch a corner rectangle as shown. Be sure the origin is located at the midpoint of the bottom line. And then sketch a construction line that is vertical starting at the origin towards the top of the sketch. And so I'll go back here and I will go here to my rectangle command. And if you actually watch the video like you're supposed to, you'll know that that's where all these tools are. And I'll start it right here on this line and bring it up here. Now, one thing it did say was that this origin and the midpoint here should be, should be coincident. Now, if this were SolidWorks, I would click on the midpoint here and this point here and use a coincident snap. But in this program, in Onshape, they actually have a midpoint constraint. So if I go here and I click on this line, oops, I need to get out of the rectangle command. So now I'll click on this line and I'll click on this point. So I've got a point selected and I've got a line selected, and then go right here to my constraints, and there is a midpoint constraint. And if I click that, you can see that now that this is at the exact midpoint, just like it's supposed to be. All right, so we got that done. It also said to draw a construction line. Now, this is also a little bit different. In SolidWorks, you had a drop down. You could choose construction line. Here in Onshape, they have a toggle. If I toggle on construction, or I could just hit the Q, and as long as that button is active, you can see it's highlighted now. If I draw a line, it will be a construction line. So it said start right here at the origin and come straight up. So there we go. Hit escape. Now I've got my construction line. Now I need to unshade this construction line. It did when I hit the escape, so we're good. We've got, I think, everything done. Let's go and make sure. We got the origin, we did a construction line, and it actually showed you what that symbol looks like. And so we'll go to the next one. All right, so now we're going to add an arc down here, and we're going to add some lines up here, and then we're going to add some constraints. So let's do that right now. It says sketch a 3-point arc by clicking the 2 endpoints at the bottom of the rectangle. The arc should be tangent to the vertical sides of the rectangle. So let's do that part first. So I'll go right here. I'm going to go to my 3-point arc, and you see I could have just selected A. But I will click on this endpoint, this endpoint. Oh, I guess I actually unselected that. So let's do that again. This endpoint, and I'll just bring it down. Now, it did say that, now I have to hit escape to get out of the arc command, but I'll click on this line, and you don't have to hold control down like you do in SolidWorks. If I just click that, they're both selected, and I'll go to my drop down here, and I choose tangent. And you can show constraints. You know, in SolidWorks, there's a thing over here in the middle where you can make it show constraints. But if I put show constraints, you can see that I have a tangent constraint now. I click on that, it shows the 2 lines that are tangent. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to click this line, and I'm going to make them tangent. So now I've done that first step. Now it says, sketch the lines shown above the rectangle as shown. Be sure the construction line ends at the midpoint of the horizontal line. So I'm just going to go Back to my line command. And I'm going to make that line command. See how I touch that? I'm going to make it even with that. I'm not really worried about where the midpoint is yet, because now I'm going to actually, again, change it back to the arrow. And I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to select that point. Always a line and a point. And then I'm going to choose midpoint again. And now this is locked in at the midpoint. You can see I have that midpoint constraint. So now I've done everything that I needed to do. So I think we're good. Yep. Go to the next slide. It says, sketch the circle as shown and change the two horizontal lines to construction lines. So if we go back here, I will sketch the circle first. About that size. And then it says to change this line and this line to a construction line. So if I click that line, and then come over here to where the construction is and just click it, you can see that now I have changed these two lines to construction lines. So we'll go back to our exercise. We've got all this done. Next slide, it says, draw. We're going to draw this right here, and it says these two vertical lines are equal. So sketch 3 lines to make the keyhole. Make sure the 2 indicated lines are vertical and equal. So I'll go back here, go to my line command, and that's vertical. That's horizontal. That is vertical. Now, you'll notice right now that they are not centered, but if I do go in and I click on this line and this line, just like it said, and I make them equal, because they are equal, that automatically centered that, just like it was supposed to be. So now we'll go back here, and we've done all this. We're going to go to step number 6, and here we start adding some dimensions. So sometimes it's hard to remember all 4 numbers at once, but I can remember that from the center to the top of that is 1.25 and the width is 0.75. So let's do that. So I'm going to go to my dimension tool, and you can see it looks just like the dimension tool in SOLIDWORKS, but I click on that. If I click on this and this, that's supposed to be 1.25. I hit enter. And then this right here, I can click on each of these points, or I can just click on the line, bring that up, and change that to 0.75. Okay, so that is done. So let's go back. We've got 2.5 and 3.5. So from here to here is 2.5, and from here to here is 3.5. So from here to here, 2.5, and from here to here, 3.5. So we've got that done. Looks good. So we'll go to the next slide. And it looks like that needs to be a radius of 2. That needs to be a diameter of 2. It looks like that's the only 2 that I need to add right now. So I'll go right here. This radius is going to be 2. And this diameter is going to be 2. So we're good. I mean, we're getting close. You can see that the lines are turning black as we fully define this, but we still have 2 right here that are not. So we're going to go here to step 8. Step 8 says we're going to add a 45-degree angle right here. It says use the dimension tool to add the angle. The sketch should be completely black, and we're going to accept the sketch. Hint, be sure the sketch is fully defined, is completely black before moving to the next step. So we're going to go right here. We're still in dimension mode. And I'll click on this line and this line, and it changes automatically to an angle dimension. I'm going to change that to 45. And so now you can see that my sketch is completely black, and I can finish the sketch. And so I've got the sketch here, and so we're going to go to the next. It says, select the region shown by the orange highlight, that is the area. The measurement displays at the bottom, and see, it does not show you the measurement here because they're going to want you to check that. So we're going to go back here. We're going to choose this area right here. It does turn orange, and when it does, it gives me an area 15.936. Remember that number, 15.936. So I'll go right here, and I'll go to next page. Check to see if your sketch is correct. Begin self-check. Okay, what is the area of the selected region? And I'm looking for 15.936, which is D. I'm going to see results, and it says that's correct. You have successfully completed the exercise. So all you guys are going to do now, folks, is you can come back here and just take a picture of it, do a screenshot, however you can do it with your little Chromebooks. And if you do a picture of it, you're going to have to get that picture to where you can upload that picture into Google Classroom. You must turn these into Google Classroom. If you just email me the results, just imagine that I have 60 different emails in no particular class, trying to figure out where all the grades go and who's turned in stuff and who hasn't. And I accidentally click on an email that I didn't read, and it's no longer showing as unread. And so it's just too easy to get things mixed up if you just turn it into me by email. You have to go to Google Classroom. You have to upload your screenshot. It's going to be either a PDF, if you can paste it into a document, or you can just take a picture of it with your phone, send that picture to yourself so you have it, and then you can upload that picture to Google Classroom, and I will have that you have the sketch done, you have the right dimension, and that assignment will be complete. So good luck with this. If you have any trouble, watch the video again or email me and I'll give you a hand. But this exercise does work, and I will sign off.